Hello there. So we got some cool news today. Or I think it's cool news. Patty Jenkins had an interview and is apparently back working on Rogue Squadron. Now, this movie was shelved a year or two ago when Patty Jenkins left to do Wonder Woman 3, and the movie was pretty much canned at that point. So yeah, in a this is from Star Wars News Net, but I saw it elsewhere, but I just like Star Wars News Net. The comments were made during her appearance at Podcast Talking Pictures, where after Ben Mankiewicz asked about the once canned Rogue Squadron, Patty Jenkins said the following. When I left Star Wars to do Wonder Woman 3 and I started working on that, we talked about, well, maybe I'll come back to Star Wars after Wonder Woman 3. So we did a deal for that to happen, started a deal, but when Wonder Woman 3 then went away, Lucasfilm and I were like, oh, we gotta finish this deal. We finished this deal right as the strike was beginning. So now I owe a draft of Star Wars. We will see what happens there. They have a hard job in front of them of what's the first movie they're going to do. They have other directors who have been working, but I'm now back doing Rogue Squadron. We need to develop, get it to where we're both super happy with it. To me, this doesn't sound like, oh, the movie's back in full swing, it's entering pre-production. No, this is like pre-stages of development, yeah? No script. She's got to do a draft for them. And we know what Lucasfilm is like. You will hand in a draft and they'll be like, there's some good stuff here. We're going to have another person take a crack at it. And then you'll get that report being like, Patty Jenkins has left Rogue Squadron. New person comes in to rewrite the script. Happens all the time. Not just with Lucasfilm and Star Wars. Happens all throughout movie production in that industry. It happens so much. You would be surprised how many different writers take cracks at rewriting and reworking scripts. It's why you'll see so many movies be written by, have so many writing credits to it. But to me, as a wise man once said,
a surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
I don't know if wise man is the best descriptor there. Anyway, I'm happy about this. I really am, because I love Rogue Squadron. I love X-Wings. My favorite ship in all of Star Wars is X-Wings. I remember reading like the Michael Stackpole X-Wing books. Wedge Antilles, I've done a video on him. He's my second favorite character in all of Star Wars. I couldn't be happier about this. Now, I've seen a lot of people writing off Patty Jenkins lately because there were reports, she was difficult to work with, and this was all coming out when the movie was cancelled. I don't know how much water those things hold, really. It's all just hearsay. And people wrote her off completely after Wonder Woman 84. What was that movie called? 1984? 86? 84. After 1984 was not good, and it wasn't a good movie. Fantastic trailers, not a good movie. And people really wrote her off after that and was like, oh, we don't want to do in Star Wars now. But to me, it's the same thing as sort of like Taika Waititi. He did one movie that not a lot of people liked in Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, I didn't really like it either. I didn't hate it outright as a lot of people did, but I didn't particularly like it. I remember I watched it, and then a week later someone asked me, oh, have you seen Love and Thunder yet? And I said no, because I'd completely forgotten it by that point. There were parts of it I enjoyed, there were parts of it I really didn't enjoy. But whatever. But everyone wrote off Taika Waititi after that, and was like, oh, I don't want to watch anything this guy does. But they're kind of ignoring like the impressive filmography he had before this. Like, I've seen a lot of Taika Waititi's other films that are not MCU based, and he is a fantastic storyteller and director. So all I know about Patty Jenkins is that I've seen 3 movies that she's directed, because she's only directed 3 theatrical releases as far as I know. And I've seen 3 of them, and 2 of them are really, really good. So, I feel like people have bad movies, and you don't write them off completely. Steven Spielberg. I thought Bridge of Spies was the most boring movie I've ever seen in my life. Not really, I'm being very hyperbolic there. But I didn't think Bridge of Spies was a very good movie. I could see some things in there I liked, but I was like, I'm not really feeling it. Same with like Ready Player One. It didn't really, I was like, Spielberg, I don't really like what you're doing here. And like, there's no flair or style to it. So even great directors have bad movies. Patty Jenkins, I'm going to lump her in with them. Monster, fantastic movie. Wonder Woman, 90% of a great movie. The ending is not good. But I'm happy to give her a chance. And I really want her at the helm of Rogue Squadron, because her father was William T. Jenkins, who flew in the Air Force in Vietnam, won a Silver Star. So she has grown up around this whole like fighter pilot life. She knows about this stuff. And I feel like she could bring like an authenticity to it. And I think that would be really cool. Because George Lucas showed the original crew of Star Wars footage of like World War II dogfights and fighter pilots and stuff to sort of visualize what he wanted for the X-Wing TIE fighter stuff in the original movie. And so if we can get that kind of vibe back with the X-Wing battles in a space movie, I'm 100% in for that. I think that could be absolutely phenomenal and great. And if she can just get a script together and it's good, maybe like storyboard some of this, get some like pre-visualization stuff done, I think this movie could be fantastic. And I hope it does, because I've wanted a Rogue Squadron or a fighter series in a movie or TV show, and I've wanted this so badly. The Alphabet Squadron books is like the best thing I've got at the moment. If you haven't read the Alphabet Squadron trilogy, please read it. It's fantastic. But I've been wanting like that Rogue Squadron, those old X-Wing Michael Stackpole novels back. You know, the ones with Gavin Darklighter, Corran Horn. I want that back in Star Wars, and I hope that Rogue Squadron can do that for me. So yeah, sorry to waft on about this for a little bit longer than I meant to, but I'm excited about this, and I don't know if other people are, but I am actually very, very excited about this, and I hope something comes out of it. If you like this and you like talking about Star Wars and you like to be positive about Star Wars, make sure you follow me here and on TikTok over at Cubcos, a Star Wars TikTok I think it's called. I talk about Star Wars a lot. It is my favorite thing in the world, and yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching if you made it this far, and may the Force be with you, always.